Yesterday evening, after Pra Ajahn taught the novices the principles of meditation, he had them meditate in the hall, which was their first time to meditate there. The meditation practice went smoothly. Each novice had a different way of meditating, following what Pra Ajahn had taught them earlier. Pra Ajahn asked the novices how they felt after the meditation, and also gave them some advice.
Beno, did you feel any peacefulness? No? Any type of happiness?
I felt stressfulness.
Stressed, yes.
Because I don't...
Because you keep thinking about the same thing, correct?
Yeah.
The whole point of this exercise was to try to accept what you're thinking and then to let it go. And when you try to live in the present moment, then you can have more peace and freedom and happiness. So if you're thinking about the evening chanting, are you living in the present? No. You're trying to live in the future. Or you're thinking about the future. Yes? So when you're not living in the present moment, is it easy to meditate?
Yes.
No, it's more difficult to meditate because for meditation you want to be present, you want to be mindful.
As the Dhamma discussion continued, some of the novices asked Pra Ajahn some interesting questions, which Pra Ajahn asked in turn to other novices, in order for them to ponder and help figure out the solutions.
No.
The happy part is also, I can also keep thinking about the happy part that we're going to go back to Wat Pah Nanachat.
Very good.
I just find something peaceful and think about it that make that even bigger.
Okay.
And make everybody in it so the stressful goes away.
Very good.
You have a thought coming in and
Yes.
you just know that you have a thought.
Yes.
But you know that you have a thought but don't follow it, just let it...
Very good.
Then Pra Ajahn suggested other solutions to the novices.
But when you realize that thoughts are just thoughts, then you have space from them, you have freedom. And then you can use thoughts to help you. But when thoughts aren't helping you, then you can let go of them. Does that make sense? Because if you're always thinking that thoughts are a self, that they're me, that they're mine, then your thoughts can actually control you and have a lot of power. But if you realize that thoughts are just thoughts, they're just something which just arises and ceases, then they're not you and they're not yours, and then you can let go of them.
Before the evening chant, Pra Ajahn, the novices, those preparing themselves to be ordained, and practitioners at Wat Pah Nanachat gathered for meditation and the evening chant. Last night, Pra Ajahn recited the evening chant in Pali. It was an invitation to the Devas chant, which some of the novices might not have heard before.
Tittanta santike muniwara vaccanang sadhavo me sunantu Dhamma savana kalo ayam padanta Dhamma savana kalo ayam padanta Dhamma savana kalo ayam padanta.
Then Pra Ajahn led everyone in paying homage to the Buddha before leaving to resume their meditation practice. Last night, Pra Ajahn led the novices through the dark in silence to the Crematorium so they could meditate in contemplation of death. Some of the novices were anxious, so Pra Ajahn helped to calm them down.
Not scared. We have Ajahn Ton, Ajahn, every Ajahn around here.
Actually, we don't need to be afraid of anything. That's why we're coming here, because in the sala it is very easy to have metta and to be peaceful. And now this is the real test for us, like, because we're now, we're sons of the Buddha, we're samanas, we're like samaneras, we're ordained, and we shouldn't be afraid. So that's why we come here at night. And we're charged with good energy, because you've been doing so many good things. Particularly, the Buddha said, if you have loving kindness, if you have metta, if you chant in your mind the English metta sutta that we chant, this is what should be done, you'll be free from fear.
Pra Ajahn had the novices recite the Metta Pavana chant before doing a sitting and walking meditation.
Ahang sukhito homi, nitukho homi, avero homi, apaya pacho homi, amiko homi.
After doing a sitting meditation, Pra Ajahn had the novices do a walking meditation while keeping a close eye on them. After a while, Pra Ajahn and many of the novices changed their meditation postures. Following the meditation, Pra Ajahn Gewali illustrated his personal experiences practicing as a Buddhist.
One evening, I met a snake just between my kuti and the bathroom, in the dark really. And I wanted to go to the toilet, I really had to go. But the snake was there, I was really shocked. Because I had never seen a snake before, other than maybe in the kind of like in a plastic kind of terrarium, like in a zoo or so. And this was the first time I saw a snake, and I thought, wow, this is dangerous. If I had not been mindful, I'd been dead by now. Of course, the snake probably wasn't even poisonous, but I was very afraid. This was almost like I'd almost died out of fear. So, but I had to go to the toilet. So I went all the way around to the outside sala, all the way back, big detour, so I could go to the toilet. And the toilet didn't have light, and it had just a little kind of candle. And I was so glad to be in this little house, in this little shelter. And then, more or less, I remembered about all these forest monks and thinking, okay, like Luang Por Chah, Luang Pu Man, they've seen much worse than that. More or less took a deep in-breath and went the way back, the shortcut, where I would pass the snake again. And on the place where the snake was, which I approached very, very carefully, there was this little snail. And I thought, oh, I'm so happy. From now on, I'll consider any time I see a snail a very beautiful sign of peace.
After the meditation, some of the novices practiced the contemplation of death in their globe until it was time for the morning chant. All the while, Pra Ajahn was looking after them closely. The contemplation of death practice last night was an incredibly new, challenging lesson for the little novices, because it eliminated the fear in their mind and allowed them to see the truth of life that nobody can escape. The daily practice of the contemplation of death will teach one to value every minute of life and to understand the Dhamma. This will help them live a mindful life following the Buddha's sermon. All kinds of things will decay. Therefore, one should always have heedfulness. The second day of the Dhamma trip and monastic practice at Wat Pah Nanachat has begun. The time for the novices' ordination is coming to an end. However, they must still put in effort into learning and training to live as forest-dwelling monks. The first task started at 3:30 a.m., a regular practice of the forest-dwelling monks for a long time. Waking up early for the morning chant is another way to train oneself, especially for the new practitioners, because they have to fight against the hindrances. This is an important lesson for everyone. The novices began by doing a sitting meditation to prepare themselves for the Sekiavata with the monks, novices, and Bakau at Wat Pah Nanachat. The morning chant went smoothly as usual. Although the novices had to wake up much earlier than usual, many of them managed to remain mindful while performing their tasks. Except for the chant to pay homage to the Triple Gem, all other chants have Dhamma embedded within them, which allows the practitioners to review themselves when practicing mindfulness. Being ordained allows one to let go of worldly pleasures and to realize the impermanence of all things. One is reminded to live a simple life in the middle path, which will lead to the golden path.
This is the Noble Eightfold Path. Sayatitang, these are as follows. Sammaditthi, right view. Samma sankappo, right intention.
After the chant, the novices did a sitting meditation again before moving on to their next tasks. The atmosphere was tranquil and appropriate for meditation. Pra Ajahn Gewali reminded the novices to focus on the mindful practice and warned them not to be distracted by outer or inner stimuli.
I need to re-establish my mindfulness. I need to sit like the Buddha, and whenever something comes to your mind, let it go.
The novices cleaned the hall before leaving for alms. The novices felt less drowsy and became livelier as they got to move their bodies while cleaning the temple. This was a pleasant way to start their day. While the novices were actively cleaning the hall, some of the novices arranged seats for Pra Ajahn and the other monks to eat. When the sun rose, the monks and novices went to meet the Buddhists in nearby areas who were waiting to offer alms on the Buddhist holy day. As today was a Buddhist holy day, Buddhists from all ages woke up early to prepare food and clean the streets in front of their houses for the alms offering. The novices were as mindful and calm as they had always been at Wat Pah Sangam. The only difference was the unfamiliar environment. 40 years ago, Luang Pu Cha intended to build a temple especially for foreigners to let them practice and spread Buddhism. It is easier for foreigners who share similar languages and cultures to live here than at Wat Nong Ba Pong. Thus, Wat Pah Nanachat, or the American Forest Monastery, was established, since most of the monks at the beginning were Americans. Later on, as there were more monks of various nationalities, the temple's name was changed to Wat Pah Nanachat, as it is widely known today. Luang Pu Cha chose the cemetery at Ban Bung Wai to be the location of Wat Pah Nanachat, which is 8 kilometers away from Wat Nong Ba Pong. This makes it convenient for monks to contact other people when there are problems. Since many of the villagers who are laymen and laywomen already go to Wat Nong Ba Pong for Dhamma sessions, they can offer alms and assist the monks there. On the Buddhist holy day, as well as offering alms, laymen and laywomen also gathered at Tita Tham Sala. Pra Ajahn Gewali told the novices about their tasks for today.
So this morning, you'll see the traditional Wat Pah ceremonies. One of the laymen will invite the 8 precepts, and I myself will give a short Dhamma talk in Thai. I hope you understand enough that you can derive some meaning from it. Later we can translate a little bit or summarize for you.
After that, the Buddhist assembly from all directions recited the 8 precepts together. After the Buddhist devotees recited the 8 precepts, Pra Ajahn Gewali gave them a blessing and a Dhamma lecture. At the beginning, Pra Ajahn Gewali mentioned the importance of going to the temple on the Buddhist holy day.
วันพระคืออาทิตย์ละครั้งตามปกติก็เราก็คุ้นเคยกันอยู่แล้วว่าก็ชีวิตพรหมจรรย์ชั่วคราวก็เป็นยังไงก็ชีวิตที่ไม่ได้มีอารมณ์ทางเพศด้วยเราก็อยู่กับเราเองไม่จำเป็นที่จะพึ่งพิงใครนอกจากเราเองอันนี้เป็นความหมายจริงๆของพรหมจรรย์คือเป็นความหมายที่ลึกซึ้งเพราะที่จริงก็ในชีวิตของเราก็แม้แต่คู่ชีวิตแม้แต่ผู้ที่เรารักกันก็จะช่วยเหลือเราไม่ได้ในที่สุดมันขึ้นอยู่กับใจของเราเองว่าเราจะเจอความสงบหรือความวุ่นวายเราจะรับความทุกข์หรือความสุขมันขึ้นอยู่กับใจของเราคนอื่นจะช่วยได้บ้างอะไรแนะนำบ้างก็จริงอยู่แต่การกระทำก็อยู่กับเราซึ่งเรื่องนี้ก็เป็นความหมายลึกๆของชีวิตพรหมจรรย์คือชีวิตที่วิเวกที่อยู่ปราศจากสังคมปราศจากหมู่คณะแม้แต่ปราศจากครอบครัวของเราก็ช่วงที่เราปฏิบัติช่วงวันพระที่จริงแล้วปฏิบัติเหมือนพระก็เราถือว่าก็เป็นการเชื่อมโยงกันระหว่างชีวิตคฤหัสถ์กับชีวิตบรรพชิต
Then he talked about the learning of the true doctrine for Buddhists, which takes time and patience to practice.
ที่วัดเราก็มีหน้าที่สอนคนที่เข้ามาใหม่ในพุทธศาสนาอยู่ตลอดชาวต่างชาติอายุมากเท่าไหร่ก็เราก็ต้องมีคำตอบให้เขาทำไมต้องกราบในพระพุทธเจ้าคืออะไรการให้พรมีความหมายอะไรก็บางครั้งเราแปลบางครั้งก็ อธิบายบางครั้งก็บอกว่ายังต้องอาศัยเวลาศึกษาไปเรื่อยๆเพราะพุทธธรรมก็เป็นเรื่องลึกซึ้งไม่ใช่ว่าสิ่งที่จะบริโภคได้ง่ายหาคำตอบสั้นๆก็ได้ชั่วคราวแต่ที่จริงก็ต้องเจาะลึกกว่าต้องดูไปเรื่อยๆต้องเอาชีวิตมาใช้ไปด้วยเราเรียนรู้ก่อนแล้วก็ตรวจสอบในชีวิตของเราใช้ให้เป็นเนาะดูให้ออกใช้ให้เป็นก็เราพยายามที่จะอยู่ในขอบเขตของศีลให้เป็นเช่นเดียวกันกับพอออกไม่ออกรักษาศีล 5หรือศีล 8ก็บางครั้งเป็นการท้าทายเราก็ต้องรู้จักวิถีชีวิตด้วยแล้วก็ต้องช่วยกันก็ทำให้หนทางชีวิตของเราให้ราบรื่นให้ดีงามโดยเป็นกัลยาณมิตรช่วยกันให้มีชีวิตชีวาทางพุทธศาสนาไม่ใช่ว่าเราลงทะเบียนว่าเป็นชาวพุทธเฉยๆ
Finally, Pra Ajahn Gewali gave some life lessons to the monks and novices, including the Pakao and Buddhists who gathered there today.
การปล่อยวางการสละสรรพสิ่งทั้งหลายเพื่อจะได้ให้รสชาติแห่งสันติธรรมวิมุตติสุขเหมือนที่พระบรมศาสดาได้พาเราได้ทำตอนคืนที่ท่านได้ตรัสรู้แล้วที่ท่านได้สอนให้พวกเราทั้งหลายได้มีหนทางในชีวิต
The period of ordination for the novices is almost over. Although it was only a short period of time, the experiences the novices have gained are the noble treasure that will give them immunity and allow them to live with others in society peacefully. After they finished eating, which is a necessary means for maintaining life, the novices clean their alms bowls. Washing the alms bowls is a way to take care of their requisites and also to prevent the monks from committing offenses, as there might be some food remaining in the bowls when they have to use them for medicinal food or pesacha in the afternoon. After they finished washing their alms bowls, the novices wipe them dry and place them in the sun to prevent them from having a musty smell. After they finished their daily routine, the novices assisted Pra Ajahn by offering him their inner robes, which he taught them how to sew yesterday.
Sadhu Anumodhana, this is the bathing cloth that the group made for me yesterday. I appreciate this, then I can use this because the other one is getting old and has been kind of used a long time, so very nice. Okay. Anumodhana. I'll determine this straight away, because monks, we have to use things specifically. We can't just keep cloth. It's against our rules. If we just keep cloth and get more and more and more, we have to say this is a special cloth that I will use. So I'll determine this in Pali. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Imang parikara cholang atitami. Imang parikara cholang atitami. Imang parikara cholang atitami. So this means I determine this as a miscellaneous cloth requisite. Thank you.
Then Phra Ajahn Gewali summarized the benefits of practicing the contemplation of death that the novices practiced in the gloat yesterday.
So what we're doing here, in order to learn especially how our mind reacts, the Buddha called the Dhutanga practices. And these are like special practices where the Buddha said it's not too much. Monks, novices, I advise you not to go any further, but to go sleep out in the forest, or sleep in a cremation site, or sleep out in the open without any protection. These are things that are good for you to study. How fear arises, how you maybe love your comfort otherwise.
Phra Ajahn led the novices to the boundary markers of Wat Pah Nanachat and explained their meaning to the novices.
The Sima stone is a boundary. The Sima is the mark of the Ubosatha hall, where we ordain. And we have to mark the boundary that we can ordain. Okay, so Sima is the boundary. So normally we have 8 Sima. Can you count how many Sima we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it's this area. We will build the Ubosatha hall. Okay, that's where we ordain as a monk or a novice. We ordain in the Sima. That is our birthplace as a samana.
The boundary markers at Wat Pah Nanachat are special because they have the teachings of the Buddha, Luang Pu Cha, and Phra Ajahn Sumito engraved on all 4 sides.
So there's so many nice Dhamma that Ajahn Gewali basically pick. Some of them are Pali, the word of the Buddha. Some of them are from Ajahn Chah. Some of them are from Ajahn Sumito. Okay, so they are some of them in Pali, in Thai, and in English.
Phra Ajahn divided the novices into 2 groups and let them study the teachings on the boundary markers closely. Throughout the session, Phra Ajahn clarified the teachings on the boundary markers to the novices to make them truly understand the sermons.
Sankhara is conditioned things, anything which is built. Does that make sense? Anything which is formed of different parts. Does that make sense? Okay, does anyone see anything here which is built or formed?
Yeah, this
Yes.
statue.
Our bodies are made of different parts, yeah? This is actually formed, this is actually carved from solid stone. But when you look at a stone very, very closely, you just see it's a bunch of little tiny parts. So when we call this a stone, this is actually just a convention. It's a word that we use. It's a creation, right? But really when we look close, it's just little pieces. So even also the body.
Okay, can somebody read Thai for me? Okay, Vincent.
ดูใจมัน spider คล้ายๆน้ำไหลเลยเรียกมันว่าน้ำไหลหนิ่ง
น้ำไหลนิ่งรู้จักไหมน้ำไหลนิ่ง
ไม่รู้จักครับ
It's a very face of Ajahn Chah very popular ว่าน้ำไหลนิ่ง you know น้ำไหลนิ่ง How can the น้ำไหลand นิ่ง at the same time?
Because it's smooth. It's like it's not.
It's flowing and stillness. Okay, so it's like a pond. See, on the surface it might be moving, flowing, but underneath it's very still. Ajahn Chah compared the Dhamma. It's like น้ำไหลนิ่ง still forest pool.
Learning the Buddha's sermons and Phra Ajahns' teachings helps the novices collect the true knowledge, which is the unlimited resource for them to live with mindfulness, to focus on the present, and to have protection against any future mental harms. On the second day of the Dhamma trip at Wat Pah Nanachat, the novices had a chance to have a Dhamma discussion with Phra Ajahn the whole afternoon. After the novices had a chance to experience the contemplation of death practice yesterday, Phra Ajahn emphasized to them once again about the truth of life, which was the lesson about death. Phra Ajahn had an interesting way of introducing the lesson today.
Everybody will be dying, right? You die one day. Okay, so it's as a novice, it's time for reflection. What's going to happen? It's good to think about that and reflect on death.
Then Phra Ajahn posed a deep Dhamma question to let the novices ponder and then explain the answers to them.
What will you do if you're going to die? If today is your last day, what will you do?
Meditate for 2 hours, then go to the Buddha statue and lie down the lion position.
After that, Phra Ajahn shared with the novices his near-death experience when he had a car accident. He also expressed the feelings he had when he knew he was going to die.
When you are in that accident, your mind is very slow down and it's like every shot is very clearly seen. So at that time, for some reason, my mind just thinking about the money, about oh, I have to pay a lot now. See, this is not a good way to die. When you greedy, you think about your money, whether you have enough money to pay back and all these things. So, but you can't control that. Whatever you are thinking every day, it will come up when you die.
Phra Ajahn also told the novices about another one of his near-death experiences when he fell from a great height. The accident occurred when he was cleaning the glass on the hall's roof. On that occasion, he had a different outlook compared with the first incident.
When I fall down, my mind during that time basically focused on the Buddha Rupa, and because I was here for the whole year, every day do the morning chanting, focusing on the breathing in and breathing out, I just somehow when the danger happened, the mind just zoom down and just focus on breathing in and breathing out, and the picture of the Buddha Rupa is just in front of me, and the bright light come up. Very, very peaceful. When you're about to die, when you're in the experience, what come up is what you do regularly.
After Phra Ajahn shared his experiences, he summarized the moral lesson from the stories to the novices.
That's why we contemplate on death. We try to bring that up to consciousness rather than try to put it away, right? Because everybody's gonna die, right? Are you accepting that you're gonna die? Anybody don't want to die? Nobody wants to die, okay? But you will die one day. I don't think we find a way not to die yet, okay? But we can contemplate on that, how to let go.
Phra Ajahn asked the novices what the difference is between death and nirvana.
What the difference between dying and parinibbana?
Nirvana, you don't get born again, so you end the suffering.
Yes, so parinibbana is no longer no rebirth. He put down all the, and he do things that needs to be done. He understands everything. So when he let go, he letting go. He able to letting go completely and be free from all suffering. But for the rest of us, he probably going to go on to the samsara because he's still attached to things and get reborn again. So who knows which form we're going to be end up with. So we better be practicing good. To be born as human is very rare. You have to have a lot of merit to be born as human being.
Then Phra Ajahn Sunanto narrated a Buddhist fable about a man who lived in the forest. One day, a tiger came. This man was very fond of tigers, so he gave the tiger some food every time it growled at him, thinking that the tiger was his friend. After a while, a second tiger came to him, so he also gave food to the second tiger. Before long, a third tiger came. He could only hear the sound of the tiger's voice, but could not see it. However, he decided to feed the third tiger as well. After a while, the tigers became bigger and began to ask for more food. Eventually, the man realized that the tigers were not his friends, but he had become their slave. As the story ended, Phra Ajahn compared the story of the three tigers to the Dhamma and provided solutions to the problems.
This is actually a simile. This is a teaching. This is very similar to our own defilements. Now, the first two tigers are like greed and like hatred. And the third tiger, who's invisible. Does anyone know who the third tiger would be? Yes. Yes, delusion. So, actually, one thing that was just mentioned before was to not feed them in the beginning. So, if you don't feed craving, and you don't feed hatred, and you don't feed delusion, then they never get big and powerful, yes?
The Dhamma trip at Wat Pah Nanachat has nearly come to an end. The lessons that the novices have learned here and from the beginning of their ordination were an experience filled with compassion and kindness. They can pass on their experiences to others by preaching sermons. We would like to invite you to join the alms offering with the novices of True Little Monk, a wisdom training program for novices, at 6 a.m. and follow the novices Dhamma expedition at Wat Pah Nanachat, Warinchamrap district, Ubon Ratchathani, on the 19th to 21st of July, 2018. Please follow the summary of daily routines tomorrow at 9 o'clock p.m. Follow our worldwide streaming on www.truelittlemonk.com and Facebook True Little Monk. The dual language broadcast is available on True Vision's channels 60 and 99 and True Vision's HD channels 119 and 333 and True Blue Panya channel. The dual language live broadcast is accessible 24 hours a day on the True ID and True Blue Panya applications. All episodes of the Daily Reel documentary of True Little Monk are available on YouTube.